Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to the Shroud of the Avatar hangout, where a bunch of us who are really interested in the game are going to talk about it. Oh my, doesn't it sound so exciting? So, yes, all you see, Fear there is so excited that all he can do is nod.
That's correct. That's what I do.
So, I hear a little bit of echo. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Is it from Frank?
No. It's from William.
William. Oh, okay.
He probably doesn't have headphones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyone is welcome to join us here. If you're watching this live, I'm going to post a link for you, and you can join us here on Hangout. And William, if we get feedback from you, you can just mute your mic whenever you're not talking, if you don't have headphones. So.
Okay.
Okay. So, anyway, let's see here. Last week was a good episode. This is actually opened up to everybody, and so it's we get some interesting characters that join us. And I have to say that that if we have some more interesting characters join us, I'm going to boot them quite quickly. I know you'll all think it's rude, but
No.
But I just want to stay on topic, and I don't want to be evangelized.
Yeah.
So
Well, we are one of the more intelligent streams.
Yeah, that's what he said.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are.
So, very good. So, okay. Now, I just at the last minute decided that I was going to title this Crafting, because I didn't know what else the hell we were going to talk about, and I figured like we really needed a subject, and but I can tell you that I think that everybody who's going to be playing the game needs some sort of crafting. You can't get on without it, and or at least I don't know. How would you can a game like this be played without doing any sort of crafting whatsoever? Do you think?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Frank. if you
No,
want.
I don't think it can. You have to craft to make weapons and armor and stuff like that. So
I haven't played too many games where they would allow you to just craft or just fight. You were forced into doing both.
Mm-hmm. What I was just thinking is that, okay, so maybe somebody could just be an adventurer and go out killing monsters and earning loot that way, and then just buying their stuff that way. But, I'm thinking back to Ultima Online, and I don't know that you could actually make a living doing that. It would be very, very hard living off just the loot that you get from monsters alone. There was always something secondary that you ended up doing, especially to complement your, the current play style.
Right. And week one, I asked Richard that question. I said, will combatants be able to make a living without getting a job? And he said they would. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I actually specifically asked him that because I used to have a job in Ultima Online. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my job to be, killing stuff and getting money that way. So apparently he's got some idea for that, but we didn't go into detail because it was a different subject that week. But
Right. So, as far as crafting goes, Fear, do you plan on doing any sort of crafting, or are you, just because you asked that question, are you planning on that you're not gonna do any sort of crafting, that you're just gonna go out there killing to make your money?
if I don't have to augment with the job, then that's fine. But I haven't ran into a game yet that allowed that, so I'm darn good at tailoring actually. So if I have to, I can always fall back on my old trade.
Yeah, I know that's some pretty fly, clothing back there. And what is that behind you, hanging over the chair? Is that underwear?
It's just a blanket. It's a blanket. Is that underwear? Yeah, that's my. It's my ex-wife's underwear, actually.
Oh, gee. Okay, we won't go there.
You asked for it. You asked for it.
But I can see you upgraded your digs here.
I just got my green screen down.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the carpet looks nice. Looks nicer than your last place.
Yeah. My last place was just a wall.
Yeah. So, William, how about you? For crafting, do you look forward to crafting, or you want to avoid it altogether? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I did a lot of crafting in WoW, but I'm looking forward to this because it seems so intricate, and it seems so, together. I'm looking forward to crafting in my own house and stuff like that, and inviting my friends to craft with me at my own house. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, not everybody was able to afford a house, so that's pretty cool that you've got a house. Will you be like crafting stuff, and then do you plan to have like a vendor in your house or something like that where people can buy from you?
Yes, I haven't. I'm working up to the house level right now. I'm at the developer level, but next month I'll go to the house level and stuff like that, and then we can do the vendor and different stuff.
Cool. For myself, I probably, I plan to. I'll probably be a merchant. Although, who knows? I may be an evil merchant and go out and kill my customers and steal the stuff back and put it up for sale again. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't.
No. I'm gonna go over to William's house and I'm gonna kill the people as they come out of his place.
Yeah, now that's a vendor thing.
Thank you.
And
It's called competition.
yes, and I probably will be doing some sort of crafting, but it'll probably. I'm not so much of a crafter either. I would rather buy from other people and then resell it. And so I'll put in orders for 100 swords for somebody, and I'll get them at a very good rate, and they'll make a decent income. And then it's just the whole natural wholesale, manufacturer wholesale retail thing, and I'll retail them out. That's my thoughts, but I have no idea what kind of features we're going to have on our vendors, like whether or not I'll even be able to hold 100 swords. So I think that's something that I'll be doing now. If there's any sort of merchant skills that I can work, then I probably will. That's actually something I'm learning in EVE Online right now, which there is skills in EVE Online. They're specifically tailored to people who are merchants, and it takes like 6 months of training to get up to the highest levels, so that you can do the really big sales.
Right.
I'm not actually seeing Shroud of the Avatar being as intricate as that with skills and stuff, but maybe, who knows. I guess I wouldn't mind too if I'm sharing with a house with other people, if we had some crafting stations there.
Yeah.
To allow people who had vendors to craft their stuff right there, especially people who are homeless, who don't have their own place. That might be a big draw, actually.
So, I don't know if they're going to do anything like now in Ion, they have a really nice merchant setup, but I think you have to have your character is actually the merchant, and they have it set up to where you can go in and it's a store, but the guy has to sit there and you can talk to people, but you have to be. And I hope they don't do that. I hope Ultima goes with the old school, little guy standing out there, hey, come buy my stuff. But there's different ways I guess they can look at it now that they probably couldn't have back then. I don't think anybody's seen what the inventory stuff is going to look like when you whatever kind of bag or satchel you have, and what the vendors might have could be completely some other kind of interface where it's like I don't know, it could be like an eBay store nowadays or an auction center or something, and they can go a lot of different ways with it.
I really hope we don't have a big auction system. I do not want auctions. I want person-to-person transactions. I want to travel to where I'm going to pick up my stuff, and I want the danger of being ganked on the way back, and I want there to be some rarity. Have some people like Frank who live out in the middle of nowhere and in his lighthouse, and he's making, I don't know, lighthouse lights or something.
Replacement bulbs.
Yes, replacement bulbs and
lightsabers and glowing helmets.
And I have to go out there by boat or something like that to get to him, and Frank here can get a higher dollar for his stuff because he's out there and he's actually getting maybe it's something really rare. Maybe Frank, I don't know. Frank, tell me about what your thoughts are on crafting.
Well, I like crafting, so if they have a system where the more skill you put into it, the better sword or armor you can make, then that would make it desirable for people to come and buy and pay more money.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the way the system works, I will definitely be into that. And I'm not so big on being a merchant, so as far as I'm concerned, I can make swords and dump them off on you.
Woo-hoo!
And maybe split the profit.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, but since I have a castle, and they're talking about,
you got a castle, so you went ahead.
No. The lighthouse for the night kind of looks like a mini castle.
Oh,
so,
okay.
If they allow multiple crafting stations and allow you to have that open so that homeless people can use it, I'm all for that. It'll increase traffic in the house and drum up business.
Absolutely. I think that's actually, maybe some of us who own houses and can have crafting stations can look at this as like community gardens. And that the crafting station is there. You can make your wares. People can use it. Maybe they can use it in safety in the house. Then you could have just a little chest that sits over there, and it's donations for the house owner in appreciation for having a safe place to craft their wares. And that's totally just a donation type system. But God, wouldn't that be great to be able to do that?
For you guys.
Well, you're just gonna have to wait outside the door and get them on the way out.
I'll be a customer, as probably somebody. Always need a sharper sword.
Buy something or get out.
Yeah.
Gank our stuff as we make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't kill merchants. I think merchants you need those guys. Okay, I just kill people that don't need to be there. Like people that killing those nice dragons and stuff. I don't like those guys.
Yeah.
They were talking about regional auction houses, though.
Yeah.
Auction houses by region.
I love. Yeah, reagents are very important. So I'm definitely down with merchants that have that.
I used to sell bags of reagents, and we just put them together in common sets. I mean, I'd have 100 of each or whatever, and we'd have like 10 bags in there of that. But then we'd also have like the recall set with a couple of blank runes and stuff like that. So you had enough so you could mark them, and then you could recall to them and everything.
Yeah, we would just break those down into bags of 30, and then that's how we'd run.
I remember, how much was it that you could stack of reagents? Was it like 32,767 or something like that?
Yeah,
it was some hex number, and I remember that when my house got robbed a couple of times, that was just too much for one person to carry, and so they'd have to drag some off.
Yeah.
And you'd watch the pile go down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
As they were robbing your house, yes.
Well, yeah. Well, if you get killed, you don't want to get killed a lot, so 30 of each was about all anybody would carry.
Yeah. So, I think that the whole crafting, I really like this idea, and I hope that because I actually feel very passionate about it. So, I like this idea of being able to make your house open to people who don't have houses that could craft, and or being open your house to guild members or to something or other. There's got to be some way to keep the nefarious people out, But I suppose that could be by banning them, but you're not going to always be there. I'm not going to be in the game 24/7.
Well, you need a catapult.
Catapult.
Yes.
I'm not sure that'll work. So, yeah.
Never know.
How about you, Richard? What are you looking forward to with crafting? Anything?
Yeah, very much looking to crafting. I'm hoping that, I don't know, there's been some rumors that maybe we'll actually be able to make stuff offline and introduce it to the game. I believe you mentioned it earlier on the one-off art, so I'm looking forward to stuff like that. And then selling that. That would be awesome. Definitely looking forward to not only just crafting itself, but I used to like hunting and other games and bringing the materials back and then selling that for crafting.
Or maybe not. Now that I'm talking again, I was trying to mute the echo. So, yeah, I think maybe I got it. And just off topic, if you turn the volume down in your headset, it may not pick up the echo so much.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we hear you just fine. We were just hearing echo, and so now it looks like you have. I'm just looking at your surroundings there. And Richard, and it looks a little artsy, a little bit, some detail back there.
Oh yeah.
And so, are you an artsy person?
Yes.
And so you would this whole idea of being able to produce some art and sell one-offs in the game, that's really enticing to you?
Right. Yeah. And I do have developer access, so I'm hoping to encourage them to do stuff like that where I can upload original images. I'd really be interested in seeing some stuff like maybe crafting and applying even like tattoos. And
tattoos?
Not only,
yes, that's
absolutely.
Interesting.
And not just, I know in some older role-playing games like tabletop, tattoos had more than just a decorative, that could actually be used. Say like a dagger on your forearm that might be tattooed could actually be used as a form of magic, like the dagger that could never be taken from you unless, of course, they took your arm. But,
oh, goodness.
But something like that,
Yeah, that is a very interesting thought, and as far as art goes, tattoos are in real life unique works of art. So even if you go into a tattoo parlor and you see one on the wall and it's a skull and crossbones or whatever, and you're like, I really want that on my forehead. and
Sure.
And then, but it's each individual artist's touch to it. It's each one has their own little flair, their way of doing it, the way of coloring it in, and everything. And so you get variances in all of them, even though they're all copying off the same thing. And so it does end up being a unique piece of art each time. And it's not something you can just mass manufacture. It's not just copy this file or send another one to the printer. And I like that. I like that idea.
I would like it to be something that we could upload. You see tattoos in some games, and they all look the same on everybody because, just like you said, they're just mass art and they're just putting them on their avatars. I think it'd be more interesting if it was something you could upload. I know they've talked about like uploading designs for, say, banners and things like that for like crests, and I think that would be interesting to see.
I want the Marquee Dragon logo on my cape.
Yeah, absolutely. I see you have one tattooed on your arm.
Oh yes, I do have. I do have one on. Oh, other arm.
Your other left arm. Yeah. So. Yeah, but that's what I do as a profession. So I'd like to see that applied more in games.
So you're an actual tattoo artist.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, it all makes sense. See in the background now and everything. Yeah.
Right.
I love tattoos, but I sure hate getting them.
Yeah, nobody likes getting them.
Yeah, most painful thing I've ever done on purpose. So,
But
yeah.
I'd like to see stuff like that, even if it was not even necessarily on skin. Even just if we could do own designs, like you say, like on cloaks or on shirts or whatever the clothing may be,
Mhm.
just to be able to customize it and make it more personal to the individual.
Do paintings,
Yeah, for walls, yeah,
walls in the houses.
why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think they've mentioned stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and how they're going to allow us to do that and how they will govern that and how risque will that get? Because some people, they'll put anything up that might not be
Oh,
good for your children to roam into their shop and buy.
well, no, that's an
you know,
interesting thought.
and you see stuff like that in. I know you've mentioned Second Life. I mean, which to me is like the New Orleans of online.
Right.
You might not want to take your children in there.
No, because you see giant dildos running down the road.
Absolutely, because the people that are there get to make and put anything in there that they want, and with not much, I guess there's like levels of maturity ratings for the different Sims there. So I don't know how they would do something that in Shroud of the Avatar, if they're going just to allow us to upload original stuff. Will there be some kind of approval time, where you have to wait so somebody there could look and decide whether or not it's, worthy to be uploaded?
That's interesting. They could
I'm looking forward
crowdsource
to
that
that
too.
and how that applies to crafting.
I think that stuff could be crowdsourced
Right.
as to whether or not it's allowed in the game, and 100 votes. Is this appropriate for the game or whatever?
Yeah, that could be a good idea.
And because a lot of us will answer that honestly. We may enjoy it when we see it, whatever it is. We may find that it's funny or it's really just a work of art, but it may not be appropriate for the game.
Sure.
And so that would be interesting. That actually, if they were to verify people's age or something like that before they got into the game, and so. People over the age of 21 could choose to help out in that fashion.
Yeah, definitely.
Something like that. So, are any of the rest of you here artists? Anybody else here an artist? No. How about a craftsman in real life? Frank, I saw you built a box one time.
Yeah. I built a door behind me, and I try some things around
It's
my.
a nice door.
Thanks. I wanted to have a full British phone booth in my living room, but
Holy
turned out
cow.
to be a lot more expensive than you would think.
What is that? A TARDIS?
That is on the list, but that would be blue. So
Yes.
I like to build things, but I'm not good at it. So I don't want to claim to be an artist. I don't think I'm going to be making digital art to upload to Shroud so that they can use it in game. I would just spend hundreds of hours trying to come up with a picture, and they'd probably say meh and not use it. So,
Yeah. Well, maybe abstract sometimes sells.
Absolutely.
So
Doesn't have to be good. Just express yourself.
it just has to be wanted. Doesn't have to be
Right.
good. It just has to be wanted.
yeah.
Which is very interesting. And that door is awesome behind you. So
Yeah, I want the
don't
door.
don't cut yourself short.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do 3D modeling at work, and during the Kickstarter, they sketched up a tower, and somebody rendered it in 3D almost immediately and then uploaded it. And I thought, well, that's something I can do, but I don't. I have a hard time inventing things. I can copy what other people design, but dreaming up what something should look like, I don't have that skill.
So you're not you're dreamer. You're the builder, or
Yeah.
the architect.
Yeah.
But you're just taking. Somebody says, I just need a house such and such, whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch the pen of the Avatar, you'll see. I think it's Stevens' his name, the artist
Yeah.
there. You'll see him Google ideas. There's nothing wrong with that. You should just Google image something, get an idea, and work from there.
Yeah, actually, that's a very interesting comment that you have there, because a lot of people think that they have to come up with something that is totally original, and that is furthest from the truth. Go out and take your favorite artist or the stuff that you know you can do or whatnot, and take a look at some of the stuff, take a look at some of the other stuff. Combine three different artists together, or take one influence, take one thing like a design for something here, and then say, okay, well, let's give it a medieval look and everything, and so you just apply it that way. And so you don't have to be so creative. Just think about it as putting things together and building. So I'm no artist either, but in business, in coming up with new business ideas and everything, there's very little that I have come up with entirely on my own. Almost all of it is that I saw somebody else doing something there, and I said, oh, that's a good idea. And I just, think about it, and I'm like, I don't want to just copy them or whatnot. But then I see something else over here, and ooh, those would go together really, really well and create a really nice synergy. And then it's just repackaged as another product. And people may see the influences of it, but then they'll think you're brilliant for coming up with it. Okay, so we got a couple of other people here. We've got like Scott and Jesse that have joined us. Jesse seems to be playing a different game other than Eve, or he's playing Eve or something like that.
Yeah, looks like Eve going on there.
Yeah. So Jesse, what are you excited about with Shroud of the Avatar? Dun dun.
Apparently nothing.
Yes, apparently.
He's speechless.
Yes, apparently he's gone. Okay, so Scott, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. So, did you feel like you had to speak because I just booted the last guy?
I felt threatened. Nervous for my survival on Google Hangouts.
Yeah. So, Jesse, what is it? Or not Jesse? You're Scott. Sorry, the other guy was Jesse. Scott, did you back Shroud of the Avatar at all?
I did. I took Artisan, I believe it is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And pretty excited about it. I started in Ultima 7, and then I tried some of the earlier Ultimas. Couldn't get as into them as I could in Ultima 7, and did a little bit of the later Ultimas. Didn't get too into those, but got into Ultima Online for a couple years, and then just followed Richard for, I don't know, till he came out with this game. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You almost described my history with it. And I only finished a couple of the standalone games, but I thoroughly enjoyed every bit of play that I had in each one of them. So now, what's your thoughts on crafting? Will you be crafting anything, or will you be, or do you want to do like Fear and only kill things to get stuff?
I'm actually. Now that they've announced that they'll be doing farming, I'm trying to get into farming. I played Minecraft is where I first started getting into role playing with farming, and loved it. It's just something simple and pleasant about it, and just kind of absorbing that life, and let adventures come to me as the NPCs decide to approach me or as I run into things. But I'll be doing that, and I've actually been working on a site trying to get one up for start unions. So already got a farmers union started.
Oh my goodness!
And the whole concept is basically just going to be anything that helps promote your profession. So for farming. Say you want to build pumpkins, you want to grow pumpkins. Well, what can be consumed? You got pumpkin pie can be consumed. Jack-o'-lanterns, another consumable. So it's kind of getting more into how ideas for how to contribute. So
that's pretty cool. I hadn't thought about that. Now, I did bring up with Richard. I said, "Well, what if the players unionize?" He got kind of this "oh shit" look on his face, and then gave a really nice answer. But
so this is kind of experimental for me too. I've participated in several alphas and betas on several games over the past years, and I was like, you know what? Why don't people do this more? And Richard's a real open guy, and he's willing to listen where you have a well thought out idea. So I'm like, if we can get together and put out some well thought out ideas, maybe we can get some content that we really want in there.
Wouldn't it be interesting? I just thought of this. So you're talking about farming and everything. Well, what if I could just give up having a house altogether and just use my plot of land for farm?
Yeah, see, that's something that I was thinking of. I was like, all right, so he's going to have farming, but where are we going to farm? Like, can we? And I was thinking one of the pieces of properties could be, mostly farmland with a small little shack on the corner. And you're basically a farmer farming the land.
Absolutely.
Ideally, it would be outside of the city, so you could get more land.
Yeah, actually, wouldn't that be great that if a housing plot was turned into a farm or put on an outer skirts location, that the plot sizes are a lot bigger, and because they're like zoned for farming.
I like that. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
And lower taxes for farmers too. I would like that.
You're so funny.
Then you can play your seat of immortality.
I think that it's a really good idea, a farmers union, and you know what, it's illegal in real life when you're dealing with real dollars, at least in the United States. And I know not all of us are in the United States, but it's illegal to do price fixing. But if you can put together a farmers union to where the farmers can sell product at a fair price, that a price that's a fair value, but to keep the price higher so that you guys make good money, but you're still providing good value, then that would certainly be something that your farmers union could put together.
Yeah, and I think a good way to play into the storyline would be, like the Lord of the Land would dictate, which farms are producing which product to prevent, overflow of, too much corn or too much wheat or whatever. But there's a whole, I guess you could do a whole sub game inside of the game for
actually, that's a really interesting thought, because what about doing something like skills of farming, and that if you reach high enough levels, then somehow you can influence everything around you as to what kind of things can be produced.
So kind of like you could, how do you mean by that? Like you could take like a plant and somehow influence it to grow a certain type of fruit that it doesn't normally grow? Is that how you mean influence it, or did you mean something different by that?
I just think that you're talking about like unions and stuff like that, and the how can you influence the market? If I'm a farmer, I don't mind if I'm at a lower level to have some oversight from more seasoned players or more veteran players. But at the same time, I need to have fun. So how can we put that together to where a farmer could have the certain type of skills needed to govern what kind of food is produced in the land, and that I still have some choice, but I have to live within the parameters of what kind of things are being done within my region.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would be a tough balance to initiate. I guess one thing you could do is you could add a reseller element, like a game controlled reseller element where you bring your food to kind of like a wholesale marketer or something.
Or you get higher production because you because you take this oversight. And so you say, okay, I'm willing to take the suggestions here. In exchange for my crops will produce 10% more because I'm actually getting assistance or I'm working together with everybody.
Yeah, or the Lord of the Land just gives you the certain seeds that you can grow with, so you still have that kind of oversight by the fact that you get certain seeds, but at the same time, you can still purchase seeds. So that gives you, like, one of the things I loved about Richard's games and still do love about all of his games is the freedom in the games, and the ability to do anything you want, do any skills you want. The ability to, you get these free seeds, or you can purchase seeds if you save up and grow whatever you want.
So what you're saying is, if the market needed wheat, you might get the wheat seeds at a lower cost and plant those and maybe get a higher yield. But if you really wanted to raise corn, then that would cost you more and the yield wouldn't be as good.
I think between Marky's and my idea, yeah, I think that's what we're talking about. It would be a great way to control the economy without making the player that's role playing being a farmer suffer. So
Supply and demand.
yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly part of it. And then, the skills of the person who is controlling everything at the same time could have, maybe give them more market insight. Like if you are very highly skilled in controlling this group, maybe you could have some more knowledge than the rest of them because you've achieved this higher skill, and so you can then direct people into higher profit because you know what the market needs. So,
Yeah, and the other aspect of that for farming is animal husbandry, livestock. So, like sheep and cows and
I actually
breeding horses.
Link Realms, which is a game that is modeled a lot after Ultima Online. They're an indie game, and they have animal husbandry in there, and they've done a fantabulous. That's not a real word. They've done a fantastic job.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it's like so much awesomer than anything else. They have done animal husbandry with chickens, with fighting cocks, and so ones that have a winning record, actually, when you breed them with other, that you can breed winners and stuff like that, so that you come out with a more skilled chicken. And there's also the whole thing of how they look and everything. And
that just sounds like an awesome sub game within the game. I mean, that's what you're describing sounds really cool.
Yeah, and I think that would be really great. And how much time would that take? I don't know. But this whole farming sub thing. I mean, look at the success of Farmville. And all of this farming stuff going on. I mean, would you really know that was really going to be so popular? I mean, who the hell would think that growing wheat would be a national pastime for, I don't know, 100 million people playing a game,
And Microsoft has a farming simulator. I was watching some videos on it. I'm like, wow. I couldn't get that into it. That's a little extreme, but it's interesting. It's something pleasant about it, I think.
Thoughts from the rest of the gallery here?
Well, I think it's a great sub game. I don't think I'm a farmer, but I like the idea.
Sounds interesting, yeah. I think it's interesting how Richard wants to try to do this almost like one of those social games where he's trying to pull everybody's friends in. And I think that might be a perfect idea, is to bring in something like farming or even any other profession that you could bring in and have people group together and come up with a final product like that. Although I sometimes wonder if all these ideas aren't going to just overwhelm them, and how much he really planned on people living a normal life like that, or how much he's trying to push people into this epic adventure, and how much he's gonna, give us something that's more of a simulation of normal life. But I'm all for it. It sounds great.
I think the sub games like that would just be awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping the adventure finds you.
The other thing is that there are sandbox games that just give you tools and then let the players create things. And I don't know if we could be, say, given the tools to do something like this, that we could create something like this on our own or not. But it might be another way of looking at it, that if the tool set is there, then not only this whole farming thing could happen, but maybe it could happen with other things like I don't know, gathering ice from the mountains or something. I don't know, so that we can keep our produce fresh.
Carpentry is another one. I mean, that was an Ultima Online. You could just go on the. You're talking about a whole different another business model. It sounds like. I mean, this is kind of exciting what you're talking about, which is basically you group create this sub game inside of our game, and almost like iTunes, how iTunes takes 30% and the creator of the song takes 70%, or like the App Store, same thing, but with the game. And anybody can, providing they follow the standards, can make a sub game and be a part of it, and which would, of course, cover one of us. I forget who mentioned, but the concern that they're going to get overwhelmed.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is definitely what we're talking about is definitely an expansion of scope, and having done project management before, scope creep is very, very bad. It causes all kinds of issues when you try and keep piling a bunch of different little things on, and so it it can be bad. But if they have the resources to do it, then I mean they kept upping the scope every time we hit a new level on everything, and maybe this whole farming idea could just be so well liked by everybody that they say, okay, well, the first update that comes into the game after release, which would be 6 months down the line or however long, will be a full farming deal. And so
I'm curious about what his current idea for implementation on farming is. And Marky, if have you heard anything about that? Because I mean, I just heard this one little ping out there that there's going to be farming.
Is that farming will probably most likely happen on your own land. It'll probably be in a village. There probably won't be any farming in big cities, because that's a big city. And somebody mentioned like a shack in your corner, that's about what you're going to end up with. Is your house will be small and you'll have some room left on your property to do some farming. Now, whether that's large scale farming or like just a personal garden that produces a little bit of stuff that you might be able to sell, it's more like the idea of what I caught when I heard them talking about it.
the only stuff that I saw was talking like the seed of immortality and stuff like that, that really wasn't going to necessarily be planted out in your yard, that it may be like planted in a pot in your home. And so, you know, maybe part of farming will be like hydroponics. And you know, it'll resemble something like a weed farm. Okay.
Yeah.
I just blew everybody off on that one.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, everybody inhale.
A weed farm. What kind of weed farm? Hold on.
Well, if you get into the whole land thing, then don't they have to, you know, is that protected land or unprotected land? I mean, are you going to be out there farming and getting killed? I mean, what's the deal? You know, there's a lot of different things that come up with, you know, me being of one of those people that might come visit you. You know, I'm kind of curious how that will work out.
You're not there for my carrots, are you?
Not necessarily.
Chilly weather.
After you take my head, you're going to take my garden and
Well, I just know I
goodies.
know my friends, and I know that's something that they would want to if it's something we could go smash their farm, they probably would do that. So I'm just curious, how would they protect all that? And you were saying it's outside the scope, and it is, because it gets a lot bigger once you get into that kind of farming.
Yeah.
Crops should be protected. Should be in your backyard.
You should certainly have some sort of protection while you're on your own property. Now, in UO, it was really it was that you're only protected in your house and inside the walls of your house, for the most part. When you're on your steps, you're still vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And so who knows? Maybe you could elect to put a fence up. And because you have a fence, that area inside your property is protected, or because of, or if you want to allow people to come in and do whatever, then you just wouldn't put a fence up, and it wouldn't have the same kind of protection.
Mm-hmm. Like
I've always been kind of a fan. I've always been pushing for open PvP, but in a sensible way. And I think I wouldn't mind that someone could come in and do something to the farm, but I would like to see the right triggers in place where, because you get two type of people. Like, this is an RP game. Mm-hmm. You're gonna really role play something, then role play it, but then you get someone who's just there to grief, and there needs to be triggers in place to force them to role play and not just to be there to grief players in the game that are enjoying the game. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I fully believe in repercussions for every action. So, if it's going to be like full access, then, I feel like as a landowner, I would maybe want to raise pit bulls. Let that boy come on my property, and he can deal with all my pit bulls before he gets to me. Something along that lines.
I could. Wasn't there a skill in Ultima Online where you could build traps and stuff? Wasn't there some sort of traps type stuff?
Didn't trapping become a skill later on?
I think so, and it was traps. It was traps against humans typically, or against wildlife. But it was more of a defense or a sneaky type of thing. And so what if you could booby trap your gardens, and then if some people are doing normal things with it, then and this could be another crafting skill. That a tinkerer could do, so if normal stuff is going on, the planting of the plants, the watering of the plants, the caring of the plants, the picking of the plants for consumption, that's all normal. But if somebody comes through just being destructive, that a trap would go off and would do them harm.
Exactly. So that's a perfect example of what I mean.
Yeah. I like the idea of having trained wolves or dogs on the premises. I like that. I mean, that seems like a
part of
something
animal
that's
husbandry, right?
Or you could just get guards. So we used to have guards you could hire. You could hire guards or whatever, but
in which case, actually, I'm just like a baiter. I'm hoping somebody's going to come on my property and mess around just to see what my dogs can do.
Oh, and then you could the dogs kill the perpetrator, and you just go out and take their stuff and go ha ha, and you walk back in, and your wolves are skill point +1.
The griefer gets griefed.
Me, my pet dragon.
Yes. Yeah, I used to not be skilled enough to actually control dragons, but I would have other players bring dragons into my keep. And we would lock them in to corners of rooms, and then if somebody got into the house and was going to try and rob me, they'd have to run this gauntlet of kind of knowing what the animals were going to do. If they didn't, they'd start getting nailed pretty bad, and hopefully would get slowed down enough to where I could kill them, or that my dragons would take them out. So.
There you go.
Okay, well, this has been a very interesting turn here. So crafting turned into major farming, and I think we've come up with some just awesome ideas here. So
That they could never afford to implement.
I don't know. You know, this is stuff. It depends on the demand. So if there's demand for it, they'll create it. If there's not enough demand for it, and there's demand for other things, then that's what they'll do.
I'm hoping the world gets as open and free and as virtual as possible. Because I just think of when we used to RP around a table, and I would start out usually as a farmer, and I always enjoyed doing majory, which is a real tough leap to go from farming to majory, because you're not a scholar or anything like that, so you're not around books. So it was always a tough RP game for me, but. Anyway, I think it's nice to have these passive skills and just kind of do this, like the world has this little virtual economy in it, and you discover quests as you go along.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it's about time to start wrapping up the show. But do we have any final thoughts on crafting or on farming? Guess not.
Nope.
Not really.
Okay. Well, I have to say, Scott, that I don't. Did you plan to talk at all while you were here, or did I force you into that?
Oh, I wasn't sure if something interesting came up. I would bring it up, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's just this turned into a brilliant conversation. And that what we've produced here is something that that Portalarium could look at and say, there may be something to this. Can we flesh it out? Is this something that we can do? And who knows? Just our free talking here and everything maybe has the potential to create a new feature or two within the game, or maybe even a section of the game. And so that's why I like these roundtables so much, and why I like inviting people in the open. Because if I was just going to invite people I know, then Fear would be here and Frank would be here, and it'd just be the three of us talking. And all of you have provided some really good insight and thought into how you're going to play the game and what you envision for the game. So anyway, kudos to you guys. So thank you very much. Okay, well, I guess that about wraps things up. And so come back again next week. These live shows are at 5 o'clock Eastern, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
Yep.
And so 5 o'clock Eastern in the UK would be 10 p.m. in the UK on Saturdays. And you can join us live on Twitch or in the Google Hangout when I put it up. And or you just get to see it every Saturday when it's uploaded on YouTube. Thank you, all of you, for joining today. This was really cool, having such great collaboration of thoughts and everything. I'm really happy that this worked out this way today. So anyway, okay. Well, take care, everybody. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
That was a mess.